Hey, welcome everybody. I'm very, very glad that you're here. We're going to spend a few minutes here talking about the Your Health Handbook and going through the program. Now, I've been using this now for about 10 years, and we worked on this in cooperation with US Enzymes to put this thing together, and I still can't figure out what to call it. I hate calling it a detox. I hate calling it a diet. It's a program that we've used to help people that have had chronic disease. We've been using it for years. I'm sharing it with you. We've given you a PDF copy of this book. It was in the very first email that we sent you, where it said click here to get your book. It's there. The book itself is very, very self-explanatory, so this is not going to be a very long webinar because the information's there. The first 20 pages of this book, I highly, highly recommend you go through and read the first 20 pages so you understand what the program looks like. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about it, but we're going to spend most of the time talking about the enzymes, excuse me, the enzymes that are involved with the actual, with the program itself. So a little bit of background about me. I practice. I've got a practice in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and I have a clinic in Bountiful, Utah. I spent the first 12 years of my practice practicing functional medicine and functional neurology. That's where really this program was born. And over the last couple of years, I've transitioned into regenerative medicine, where we work a lot more with osteoarthritic patients. And so my practice before really was like diabetes, neuropathy, all these other crazy chronic conditions that people would come into me for. And the program that we're about to go through is what we would put people on to help them overcome those particular issues. Now, as my practice transitioned into a regenerative medicine practice, we started seeing people with more and more osteoarthritic conditions. And lo and behold, guess what? They respond a whole lot better when you make these same changes. So let's go through the program. Let's go through and just talk about what the different things are. I want to give a big thanks to US Enzymes for helping me put this together, specifically Jason Rosen from US Enzymes. Him and I worked hand on hand to put this thing together, and this is our baby. We are proud of it, but we are giving it to you for free, and we are actually going to go through and talk about it. And I'm actually just going to give you what I used to go through with my patients and charge them. So this first page, the introduction page, I love this page because it just asks these very simple questions. If you don't think you qualify to be able to do a diet like this, or you don't think it applies to you, think again, read through the list. These are the things that, if you're experiencing some of these symptoms, you need to follow this. If you're just wanting more energy and to lose weight, then you need to follow it. So, do you have chronic pain, migraines, chronic headache, lack of energy, sleep issues, memory loss, brain fog, digestive issues, bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, feelings of depression, anxiety, etc., ADHD, is your thyroid functioning? Do you have peripheral neuropathy? Even if it's a diabetic neuropathy or the idiopathic neuropathy, which means we don't know where it's coming from, you need to follow this because your diet is the most inflammatory thing that you're introducing yourself to. And I'll never forget when I met my wife at the gym, and it was a couple of years before we actually started dating. She was talking about all these symptoms from lupus that she was experiencing, and I kept telling her that I could help her, but she didn't want anything to. She didn't believe me because of my background. She's like, "There's no way a chiropractor can help me with this." Anyway, I challenged her to follow this same program that we're going to go through. She did phenomenally well. 2 years later, we were married. So that's a personal story, but yeah. So she followed it and actually did really well with it too. But here's basically the program. Now, I'm not going to sit here and read from the book for you. You can do that, but I want to just explain this particular principle to you. Leaky gut syndrome basically leads to a whole bunch of other chronic diseases. Leaky gut syndrome happens because we have these intestinal villi. We have these cells in our intestinal wall that are held together by these tight junctions, and they selectively open and close to allow nutrients to enter into your bloodstream where your body can absorb them and use them as fuel. Now, as you are exposed to any of the issues that you're dealing with up here, dietary proteins, meaning gluten, soy, dairy, pregnancy, toxins, stress, antibiotics, cortisol. This list is extensive that can damage the intestinal wall. In fact, here's another one for you. Traumatic brain injury studies have shown that when you have a traumatic brain injury, your gut breaks down from a traumatic brain injury. So the whole program is aimed at helping this to repair and restore itself so that food is not getting through easily without being filtered into your system. So when we talk about the intestinal repair phase, here is what we're talking about. Now, the program is basically broken down into four phases. So phase 1 is an anti-inflammatory phase. Phase 2 is the gut repair phase. Phase 3 is when we start to reintroduce other foods. And then phase 4 is the lifelong steps that you need to take. So we're going to talk specifically about the supplementation and the enzymes that go into this. And we'll talk a little bit about the foods, but I'm not going to get into much detail because, again, it's written in here. We don't need to take the time to do that today. So it's all written there for you. So phase 1, if you're doing phase 1, if you're going to take the enzymes, this is when we start taking enzymes during phase 1. We really don't change your diet during the phase 1. Phase 1 lasts for 1 week, and you basically just prepare yourself for phase 2. So page 20, starting at about page 22 of your manual, you're going to see the foods, the menus, the recipes, and shopping list for phase 2. Use the week of phase 1 to prepare for that. Okay? There are foods to eat, foods to avoid. They start on page 11 of the book. Start reading through those. If you're going to take the enzymes, then go to the site that's listed. You can buy them there unless your health practitioner offers the US Enzymes product line. You can get them from them. That's great. But we do actually have a website here where you can get them. So that is listed with the webinar. So phase 1 is the anti-inflammatory or reducing inflammation phase by taking a couple different supplements. Phase 2 is when we get into the systemic enzymes and the diet changes, which we will cover. That's this is the intestinal repair. I say 2 to 4 weeks on phase 2, but you really can stay on phase 2 until you stop losing weight. That's fine. You can actually live on phase 2 and be just fine. But some folks just stay on it for a little bit longer because they want to lose more weight. And that's totally fine. That's not going to hurt anything. And then phase 3 is when we start to reintroduce other foods that you may or may not be sensitive to. You can't. The book is going to talk about some food testing and food sensitivity testing. I highly encourage you, wherever you are, to get some food sensitivity testing done. That way you know what to bring in, what not to bring back in. And then phase 4 is kind of what you do for the rest of your life. Again, you can read all of this stuff. It's already in there. But these phases last, again, phase 1, 1 week. Phase 2, at least 2. But as long as you're losing weight, stay on phase 2. And then phase 3 can last about 6 weeks. And then phase 4 is basically by the time you get to phase 4, then you know how to take care of yourself. And that's the way you're going to eat for the rest of your life. So moving on. Foods to eat during phase 2. Meats, fruits, and vegetables. Phase 2 is basically the paleo diet. Hey, what would our ancestors have eaten? Meats, fruits, and vegetables. What was available to them? During phase 2, you can have coconut. Coconut's a superfood, low glycemic fruits. Most meats, avoid the more processed meats like lunch meats, things like that. Limit your amount of sausage and bacon to 3 times a week. Yes, you can eat bacon and steak on this particular program. That's for all the guys. Most of your veggies are just fine. There is a noodle available called Miracle Noodles that is friendly to phase 2. Here in Idaho Falls, I think Brolem's has them. I know Natural Grocers does, but you'll have to find those. I think you can actually get them on Amazon now. They're called Miracle Noodles. Right? I keep looking at my microphone because I'm sensitive. I'm paranoid that I don't have sound. Herbs and spices, knock yourself out. We want you to have flavor, so just make sure you read the labels on your herbs and spices. Make sure they're not packaged with a bunch of garbage. Foods to avoid are sugar in all of its form: agave, candy, chocolate, corn syrup, fructose, high fructose corn syrup, honey, maple syrup, and molasses. They're all called sugar. Avoid the high glycemic fruits like bananas, canned fruit, dried fruit, mangoes, pineapples, those things that are going to spike your blood sugar really fast. Avoid all grains. Avoid beans and legumes. Avoid dairy products and eggs. Eggs are hard to digest, even though we'll bring those back later. Fungus, avoid mushrooms. I don't know why people eat those things anyway. That's just my personal thing. I don't like mushrooms. Hey, or tomatoes for that matter. Soy, avoid soy, nightshade foods, eggplants, paprika, peppers, potatoes, tobacco, squash, tomatillos, and tomatoes. Avoid nuts and seeds during phase 2. Avoid all alcohol. Hey, I just lost about half of you, but here's the deal. Hey, a cup of wine here and there, one glass of wine, with dinner on occasion is not going to be the end of the world during phase 2. When it comes to coffee, if you're going to commit a homicide, then go ahead and have a little bit of coffee, but we want to limit it. And when you do coffee, you can't do creamer, you can't do sweetener, so just be aware of that. It's extremely important that you follow this for that 2-week period. And again, you can actually stay on it longer you can stay on it for as long as you want, as long as you're losing weight and your brain's happy. So that's phase 2. Phase 3, bring back all meats, bring back nuts and seeds, bring back beans, bring back almond milk, bring back fruit juices, limited quantities of fruit juice. It's really not good for you. If you've been food tested, then go through and you can bring back the foods that you've been food tested for, like eggs, rice, etc. You can bring those back during phase 3. If you're not food tested, then follow the list below. I would still avoid gluten. I would still avoid soy. I would still avoid soy. And I would still avoid dairy during this time with the exception of eggs. Eggs aren't really dairy, so they come from chickens, not cows, just to be clear. So that's basically the program. Let me talk just briefly about the enzymes, and then we'll wrap them up. On page 6 of your manual, you have the enzymes listed there on page 6. So they are easy to follow, and it explains what each one of them is. So we won't spend a lot of time here, but here is HCl zyme. So looking at page number 6, HCl zyme is listed as number 2. But HCl zyme is to help support healthy stomach acid, even if you're on omeprazole because you have some heartburn issues. This will still help balance that out. So you take one HCl zyme with every meal, and you also take one digest zyme with every meal. And you'll see on the website that there is a digest zyme plus. That's for people that are over 200 pounds. So you take one capsule of each of these before each meal. And to me, this is what you should take for the rest of your life. Hey, we are what we absorb. And if you can absorb your food with the aid of digest zyme and HCl zyme, then there are no need for additional vitamins because you're going to get them out of your food as long as you're eating the way that you should be eating. So digest zyme has its advantage because if you go to the store and get a digestive enzyme, you can guarantee there's going to be about 4 to 6 digestive enzymes in it. Digest zyme itself has 23. So bioavailability, absorbency, all of that is much, much superior by going with digest zyme. HCl zyme and digest zyme are not that expensive. They're very affordable, so you can take those for a lifelong support. Sun Spectrum is an awesome product. This is a powder that we have to help calm the gut and actually help get the gut to start to repair itself. So you start this one in phase 1. You do 1 scoop a day. Especially if you have digestive issues, this is going to help with the constipation and diarrhea. It'll help with both. It also has prebiotics and probiotics in it to help kind of balance out your gut with probiotics. It has curcumin and it has CoQ10 in it to help with the inflammatory issues. This is really a fantastic product, and you take this. You actually take this throughout the duration. All 3 of these products, you take them through the duration of the program, but you start them in phase 1. So that's the phase 1 enzymes. Here's the phase 2 enzymes. I promise this is as complicated as it's going to get. With phase 2, you start with Cleanzyme. You take Cleanzyme for you take it until the bottle's gone, but you start Cleanzyme 1 week ahead of the systemic enzymes, and you take this stuff, one of them before you go to bed and 1 30 minutes before you eat. And Cleanzyme has cofactors that are going to help you to break down undigested food that's in your digestive tract that's causing your immune system to go nuts. It helps support your immune system. It helps with detoxification. So a lot of there's a lot of people that will get a little bit of a headache when taking this product. That's not abnormal. As you're cleaning out the body, cleaning out the gut, that is something you typically experience. Now, keep in mind, though, when you start taking this, you've made the dietary changes. The dietary changes start at phase 2. Okay, so you take Cleanzyme for 1 week, and then we add 3 enzymes. Again, this is as complicated as it's going to get, I promise. There's 3 systemic enzymes that you add at this time. So you've taken Cleanzyme for 1 week, and then we're going to add these 3: Natazyme, Cerezyme, and Czyme. Now, all 3 of these, you take them 2 capsules at night, 1 capsule in the morning. So, Natazyme is to help improve your blood flow. Natazyme will break down, it will break down plaquing to allow for more blood flow. Make sure you check with your doctor before you take this if you're taking a blood thinner. So that's Natazyme. Czyme is the next one. Again, 2 capsules before you go to bed, 1 first thing in the morning. Czyme helps break down mucus. Hey, when you have abnormal gut flora, when you have dysbiosis happening in your gut, it leaves behind a mucus film that blocks absorption of your food. Czyme is going to help break that down. Now, as your gut begins to heal and as you take Czyme, you're going to notice that your sinuses are going to improve greatly. If you have issues with allergies, we keep Czyme on hand at our house. When people start to get a cold, we crank Czyme because C-Pros S helps break down mucus. So as you're getting a cold and you're starting to get all those symptoms, we take this on the regular at my house when people get sick. So Czyme is there to help you break down your gut, the microfilm in your gut so you can absorb your food. And then lastly, Cerezyme helps break down undigested proteins that are found elsewhere in your system to support your immune system. You take it the same way, 2 in the morning, 1 at night. Those are the 3. That's as most complicated as it's going to get. You take those, all 3 of those, take them until they're gone. Then we move on to phase 3 supple enzymes. Okay? And HClZyme, DigestZyme, keep continuing those. The other 4 that we've talked about, you have finish up those bottles, then you can add Therazyme because Therazyme is a low dose of all of the above with the exception of Cleanzyme. So it's a low dose of, I don't know where that's coming from. Cancel that stuff. Therazyme's a low dose of the 3 systemic enzymes. It also has some other things in there that are going to help just with long-term. This is a maintenance dose of the enzyme. So you just take... You start taking these, the first bottle, you should take 2 of them in the morning, 1 at night. The other way around, I'm sorry. 2 at night, 1 in the morning. Once that bottle's gone, then we have people just take 1 a day. So that is the enzymes that are involved with this detox program. Again, I hate that word. Detox diet. If you got a better word for me, let me know because that drives me nuts. So phase 4 then, you can read through phase 4. You can call and ask us specific questions. You can join us for our 14 keys because really 14 keys of maximizing our potential. That is phase 4. So there you have it. That is the program itself. I appreciate you guys joining me. I'm going to sign off. I hope you've got the information. You've got the website where you can go to actually get the enzymes. Again, if you have a doctor that is providing these for you, please get them there. Otherwise, here's the link where you can get them, and make sure you use that password USE777 because that will allow you access. So you guys have been great. I appreciate you joining me, and we will talk to you very soon. Thanks so much.